Okay, I will speak about my beginnings and how I decided to switch to the games, how I start with visual effects, and at that time, what is main in the world about VFX, and what's the crucial things to know before you start going into big major industries, movie and the game. When I started, the movie industry was huge. The game industry is huge, but only in consoles. Mobile game industry was terrible. You'll see the funny comparison at the time when I start. And when I started, it was 2003, and this is it. We have the Lord of the Rings with beautiful visual effects, and on the side we have Nokia phone with the snake game. It's terrible. Yeah, I know. I know. It's a great game, but no visual effects. Yeah. When you play after couple minutes, you don't know where's the beginning and where's the end of the snake. And next year Hollywood release, sorry, Return of the Kings, and the Nokia ad they had to the snake. After many years, that changed. Now, today, the game industry on the mobile phones are really huge, and it's $108 billion net worth industry. We have, if you go to the Google Play or App Store and start scrolling about games, every day there is one game released, and I figured out that there's two kind of people who search to about movies, reading comments, what movie is great, what is the terrible, and I'm the one of the guys who before any my vacation searching for the best game for my vacation, and I don't install nothing. Why? Because I only read bad comments. Yeah. But how to start? The basic things you need to know is basics about the color, basics understanding the lights, and the fundamentals of physics. This is the common thing in the movie and in the games when you start. They expect people to learn at that time in the college. You don't you can't learn enough for the computer graphics. It's everything on paper, especially in Serbia, and there's the trouble because you want to be to take the job outside of the Serbia, and the guys, my colleagues who work in that time in Germany and USA in the States have better knowledge about computer graphics because they learn more about computer graphics at the time. I was industrial designer, and when I graduate, I don't know much about computer graphics. All I learn is by my own over the YouTube, and that is my beginnings. When you start, the basic things about the color that movie and the game industry wanted to know is a basic, just basics understandings about the color, about what is RGB spectrum, what is the color space, HSL and HSV color space, and everyone when they say the section of the HSL or HSV color section, it's we are familiar about that section. Every guy who person who open the Photoshop and start changing the color see that. Every color space have own, let's say, shape, and there's a lot of color spaces coming in different shapes, and you can manipulate differently. But main things is understanding about the channels, RGB, red, blue, and green channel, and what is the alpha channel. That's the main thing you need to know. And the basic software, where to start, is I think, and it's in Photoshop. Photoshop. It's all you need for the beginning to know. Before animation, before you start learning for visual effects or learning about 3D modeling, the Photoshop is the base. Why? Because everything you need to know to make texture in the 3D, you need Photoshop. If you want to learn and draw to be the great concept artist, you need Photoshop. If you need to learn and make good animations, you need Photoshop to make assets that will be animated later in After Effects or maybe in the Nuke or any other software for animation. Photoshop is the base, and I started with the Photoshop, very base and first versions of the Photoshop. Now, there's the understanding and common thing in the game, in movies, is the understanding of alpha channel and what happenings behind the R3 channels and the alpha channel. You know, on the first left, you will see the straight colors. Then we have the alpha channel, transparency, and pre-multiplied RGBA. Then acid composite. What happened here is when we have the alpha channel, we have the white and the black circle with values inside. It's basic stuff. Maybe you know about that, but I'll speak just basic understanding. On the top of the white circle, we have the values. There's the 1. Below, how are we going down there to the black spot on the bottom of the circle? The values go to the 0. And between is the values between 0 and the 1. If we multiply the straight colors with the RGB, with the alpha channel, we got pre-multiplied and we got transparency. Why? If we something multiply with 0, it will have value of 0. And it's a most common thing we used and how we make things transparent on the background. Understanding of transparent layers, how to make things transparent with the alpha channel. Colors are huge part of the movies. You see here, when someone create this and decide how to look this scene, he precisely choose the color. Why? Because they want to describe emotion, maybe time. I think the time of these movies is maybe 70s. You can see fluorescent green jacket or something like that. The color describe, like we know, emotions and sometimes the style of the movie, like a Matrix. To the whole movie of the Matrix, if you take the colors on the timeline, you will see there's at the beginning we see the really bright colors and normal colors in the movie, and to the end the movie becoming much more greener. Also with the Lord of the Rings, the first scenes were white, more bright colors, green. How story goes near to the Mordor story, it is more dark. It's same thing in the game. When we create the assets for the game, we choose the color. And you will see that sometimes it's same idea like a Pixar did. You will see the purple forest in the Pixar movies. Why? Because psychology of the color is important in the games, in the cartoons, also in the movies. And what you need to know is understanding what colors are great to stand together, to be in the same scene, what is work perfectly to create that harmony. It's same in the movies and the games. You'll see in this one of our assets also what I told, the purple, pink forest, blue trees, it's not realistic. Yeah. And on the left side, we choose colors, some bright colors to describe what is important in our design. What people, when many things in the games will just pop up rapidly and fast, and you have a short amount of time to realize and visualize what is important before you click OK. And that's why importance of the know basics of the color. Basics of the light is also important. Understanding of the types of the light. What different lights are how much impact they have on the item or the object in the scene. There's a different and most common lights. It's point light, spotlight, area light, and directional light. Knowledge about the light is crucial to describe perspective, to describe the three-dimensional object in the scene. Sometimes we don't have time or resources to make everything 3D and render 3D. It's more time consuming. We use just textures, concept art, and with the knowledge of the light, we can make it look like 3D. Also, why it's important to use to understand basics of the light. Many assets in the game are reusable. If I use some object, there was in one scene where's the sun on the left side, I can use it again if I turn it on the scene where's the light maybe sunset, because spotlight of the object on a different place. It will not look real. You need to realize your object you want to implement in the scene, how is lighted before you composite that object in the new scene. Now, the theory of the light is more common with the guys who work with the 3D, with the renders. They also with the concept artist. You will see in the middle, the girl is under her head is just spotlight, and you see the bright spots on head. Here it's about dome light, area light, and the characters obviously in the forest. Second thing, and most for me important thing about animation and visual effects, and also common thing in the both industries, is understanding about velocity, interpolation, and friction, or most common physics things, how things happen around us. My professor always says, don't only enjoy in your environment, observe environment. Observe why it's happened, how it's happened. Also, there's a good and a lot of tutorials on YouTube, especially from 60s, from Disney Studio. They only have the pencil and the paper, and they need to know things, draw by the hand. Now in our softwares, now you have a lot of plugins who will do that for you. But you will hit the wall when you need to create something custom. On the first thing, you will see the velocity and the interpolation and the friction of the object. How the object, when start falling, have the small velocity. After the hitting the ground, change hitting the next object, change his position, going up, slowing again, and then turning back down. In the middle, animation anticipation. For me, is most important thing in animation. With the object A, you will see the linear translation between point A, down point, and B. There's no interpolation between two dots because there's the same speed when objects start going up and the same speed when objects start going down. On the last D object, you see the anticipation is taking the first position, taking position before execution. The object prepare to jump, they squeeze down, going up, stretch it, and when then going down, he squeeze it again. And look more cartoony and look more fun. That's what game and movie industry wants with the effects, especially the games and cartoon industry. Bouncing, also physical characteristics of the objects. How and why it's happened. You know, from the real life, what materials can bounce. In softwares, you can give to the object attributes, especially in 3D softwares. In 2D softwares, you can't. You need to animate by hand or use expressions, physical expressions, or use some scripts or plugins. But if you understand why it's happened and how it's happened, when objects hit the ground and bounce, they fall down and can again reach the same value of the height again. It is impossible. It will bounce, go up, but not to the same dot when object starts. Also, understanding of the material properties. In movie and the games, there's a lot of simulations we done, especially with rigid bodies and destructions. That's a huge thing in the movies. You see maybe a lot of on YouTube VFX breakdowns, everything crashing, everything breaking, and it's done in 3D softwares, mostly in 3D Studio Max, Maya, or Houdini. And you need to know the basic understandings also on materials. We assume that the ball hit that cube was from the iron, much harder material that cube. That cube may be, let's say, soft concrete without iron inside. And on the right side, if that image was black and white, nobody will tell it is the honey. It is the water, because physical materials of the water act like that in real life, except one thing. In simulation, you will see the strange things happen when you scale it up. It's same in a real life. If we have the pool of the honey, full of the honey, and 10 tons iron ball drop it instead inside the pool of the honey, we'll see the same result like water, because the kinetic energy that was translated from the ball to the honey make molecular structure breaks and act not like water, but maybe like oil. It's the same thing in 3D softwares. Also, concept art. Main thing in the movies and the game. What is funny when I see the concept art in the movies, it's usually game and the movies collect a bunch of references, ideas from the side, but in games they make mannequins because of the fast production. We use a bunch of 3D faces, we create in the 3D, we have a large base of the expressions, we replace just in this picture we use from the Shutterstock images and overlaid within our creative art, and that's how scenes are made. It will be a lot of time consuming if you use from the start drawing the face. We have a lot of face, bodies, parts. We can easily manipulate over the picture, place it in a great perspective, and draw over them and make funny art. bunch of references. Just like you said, it's for only one art. We collect it from the many resources: Google, Pinterest, Shutterstock, and create amazing art like this. The funny thing in game industry are for me is creating the items. They're really beautiful. Also, the concept art on the movies can look nice. Do you recognize what movie is this? Maybe you know. Matrix, yes. Yes. Also, just like said, like in the light theory and color theory, look how artists keep those spotlights on the bike, on the helmet, and make look it more realistic. The concept art for the movies are more realistic than in games, and it's describe really what is written in the storyline. It described all the actually scene, what will happen in the movie. If you want to know more about any series, what will happen before they release new seasons, watch the concept art. Yeah, this is amazing. One of my favorite concept arts in the movies. Mud paint, yeah, a lot of people show that. Show that a lot concept artists are capable to do in the movie industry if they switch from the games to the movie, or if the mud painters can do if they switch from the movies to the games. Mud paint is a great thing. It can change the scene entirely. They will show the scene in one place, and with a good mud painter, it will add the texture, extend the area, extend the scene, and make it more interesting. Just like this, extending the scene with the yeah. Second. Oh, sorry. Okay. 3D in the movies is totally different between than 3D in the games. The main difference is topology, topology count. In the games, we cannot use high amount of topology because it needs to be executed now in real time. Our mobile phones are not capable to do that. Our internet is not capable to do that. To give you real time huge amount of polygons and you to see the high quality. No. This is the big difference for me. And also you'll see in the movies the high poly models are matched to the actor's body who wear that dot suit. It's a tracker suit, and it's amazing things you can do with the 3D in the movie. 3D in the games is fun, more fun. We take care more about topology and we spend more time about texturing. It's fun. It's more freedom. No need to be realistic. Need to look fun. Also, every game studio have own style. This is our style in the middle. You know, it's not simplified. It's not realistic, but something in the middle. Also, every studio have a different perspective. Disney and Pixar have these different perspectives, or how camera look on the scene. More fun one. This is what I like most in the games. The light, the game level designs. It's more fun. Also, this is cartoons. It's not. It's so funny. 3D in cartoons. Okay, the game animation. This is a funny thing. When I go to the game industry, the main thing is make it perfect loop. Make it perfect loop. There's the famous GIF when I was 5, 6 ago. I find this GIF and there was a text: "Wait before it breaks," and I waited 1 minute. Yes, I'm stupid. The same in the games. Create the perfect loop, but in movies, Can you imagine how many people works on their shot? From the recording the scene, from the keying the scene, from making simulation, from making visual effects, camera, but tons of people. And cost a lot. Also, it's not always the animation and 3D animation. Sometimes they use puppets and rotoscope, make masks around them. Same like in the movies, objects are placed. You can add the rig system to the object, making alive, and then also what is important, every time we create an animation in the game, it needs to be reusable. If we create something, we will use it definitely again, but on different character, with different clothing. And also in the games, all these animations look fun, everything shiny, everything beautiful. No need to worry about realistic, just worry about the light and look fun, and to look fun. Animation and VFX also in the games have the same principles like in the movies. I did these animations in After Effects, creating the same compositing systems like in the movies when you put a bunch of 3D card layers in the space and animate the camera through the space. This is the same example in the movies. Same thing, card on the 3D space and the camera, and it's look great. Also, our animation need to occupy people to stand watching on the phone, click next, okay, to be focused. We don't want to lose focus of the player. Also, there's a two type animations we done. Animations like intros we done in After Effects, where we have much more ability and to do, and many things to do, like more space and more tools to do. These animations are done in Adobe Animate that we created and make it like our software, and it's more limitations. When I first go into Game Studio from the VFX, I create my first fire. It's look realistic, and I said, it's 13 megabytes fire, and my boss comes and says, no, it will not work. It need to be less than 1 megabit. Sometimes it need to be 10 kilobits effects, and you have only 4 or 8 or 16 images to describe the smoke, to describe the fire, to make effects. How you do that? You need to think how you can blend some sprite sheets. If you have 8 sprite sheets, you will blend first in the third one to make one, first in the 8th one to make one, and use it like instances, not like a new objects. Do you need a game in games program language? No, but yes. You need to know, because if you use After Effects, you will need to know JavaScript, because it will make more faster things. It's more faster to understand and do things through the program language, more optimized. It will render fast. In the game engines, today you can start creating games without knowledge of the program language, but you will hit the wall. You don't need to know too much or be the game developer. But if you want to work like a visual effect artist or make some scripts or tools, you need to know just basics. And that's all you need to know. Done, yeah. Thanks.
That was amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank
We
you.
have time for like maybe 2 questions, if that's all right. Are there any questions in the audience? Rico?
Yes, sure. Hi, Nikola. Thank you for a great lecture. I just wanted to ask you, can you further explain that merging of instances when you have only few frames to make some complex effect like we do in games?
Yeah. What happens when we use timeline FX software? It's have limitations. If you want to add affect in our engine, our limitations is 300 particles. But if you need to make sprite sheet that will go into the engine, you cannot have more than 16 or 30, on 24, let's say, PNG sequences. When I import PNG sequence in the timeline FX, let's say I have 8 of them, 8 different sprite sheets of the fire. If I want to make more, let's say, to show them, to show fire, I can, let's say, when I play those sprite sheets, if we play from the start to the end, sprite sheet 1, sprite sheet 2, sprite sheet 3, sprite sheet 4, sprite sheet 8 to the end. But if I duplicate these behind and make randomizations to sprite sheet 1 go over the sprite sheet 3. Next time sprite sheet 2 will go with the sprite sheet 6. What I did, I just making instances. I don't adding new sprite sheets to the scene. I use the same 8 sprite sheets, but blending together in different time. And that will look more complex and more. Also, you have, after you done with merging bunch of different sprite sheets, you can also do that same but rotation in the mirror. Rotate them and do it again, and you have 10 more, and that fire looks great.
And you did that in Timeline FX, right?
Yeah.
You will have to show me how to.
This is the same thing. The fire rocket is a 10 kilobyte size, 60 particles. I have 60 particles, but it's the only one sprite sheet. Yeah.
Thanks.
Next.
Are there any more questions? No?
Yep.
All right. He's going to be around, so you can always hop on him
If
for any more.
you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be around. Anything about After Effects, VFX, visual effects, movies,
This was an
and
amazing
games.
audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.